In today's video, we're going to be talking about counterweights, specifically on front load washers. Because these machines move at such high rates of speed, anywhere from 900 to 1300 RPMs, you've got a lot of weight moving inside that. You've got a sophisticated suspension system, but in order to make it all work and all stay in place, there has to be counterweights. And most of those are in the form of a concrete block in various shapes. So on this particular machine, they have counterweights around the front of the inner tub. This one has a direct drive motor on the back, so there's no weights on the back, whereas other machines that have the motor mounted underneath need to counteract that weight, so they'll add weights to the back. So we're going to show you on this machine where those counterbalances are and what they look like and why you might need to have to take them off and do something with them. So the first thing we want to do is remove the top. To do that on this machine, because there's two screws. I've already loosened them, so we're just going to take those out. Your machine may be a little different. It may have 3 screws, it may have 4, but on this one there's just 2. And the top just wiggles off. Now there's a lot of pieces we're going to be taking off in order to do this, but you'll see it's fairly straightforward. It's just one piece at a time. So we're going to want to remove our dispenser, slide our drawer, just press down on that release tab. Allows the drawer to come right out, and you can set that to one side. So the next thing we want to do is remove our console assembly, and there's just some screws across the top that hold that. Now each machine, the console is a little different as to how they attach, but most of them typically, once you got the top off, you're going to find these screws across the top that allow you to tip your console forward. We remove the screws here, 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 and one more here. So with those screws out, we also need to remove a screw that holds our dispenser in place. And just slide that back a little. So with our console now free, we're just going to tip it forward, and there is enough cabling here in our wiring harness that allow us just to set this up on top. So our next step is we're going to want to be able to remove the front of the machine. Now there are some screws across the top that are holding it, but we also have to deal with a seal around the door that has to be released. We've got a door lock mechanism in here that's going to have wires going to it that we'll want to undo. As well, we have a pump down here. So the first thing we're going to do is release this spring retainer for the gasket. We'll just need a small blade screwdriver. Just going to basically insert it here where we have a wire retainer. I'm just going to work this screwdriver underneath that retainer all the way around, and once you're far enough away, the tension comes off it and you can pop it off. With that retainer removed, we're just going to pull our gasket away from the front all the way around it. Inside here is our door lock mechanism. We're going to take our Phillips screwdriver. And on your machine, it may not be a Phillips screw. It may be a Torx, it may be a 1/4 inch nut driver style, but whatever type of retainers they're using to hold that switch in place, you'll want to remove them. And that frees up our door latch mechanism, so it's not attached to the front anymore. So now we should be able to take these screws out and take the front off. Now in this machine, they have a couple of tabs that keep the front in place even without these screws. Other manufacturers don't do that, so you may want to just put your leg against the front just to hold it in case it doesn't have those, and that the front doesn't come flying off and land on the floor and get damaged. So we have these screws removed from our front, and this one again has the tabs that keeps the front in place. If yours doesn't have those locking tabs, if that wants to fall out from you, just leave one screw still in place, because on this machine, for example, there's 2 screws in the corners that hold this front on as well. Your machine may not have that, some of them don't. They'll just tip forward and lift off, but in the case of this one, we do need to remove them. We should be able to release this front by taking our little blade screwdriver, insert it into the groove, just tip it forward to release it. Same on this side. Tip this forward and we should be able to remove the front. So with the front removed, you can now see your counterbalances. On this machine, it's these black pipe pieces. This is actually concrete inside. Now this manufacturer encases those concrete pieces in plastic, which is a really great idea. It's rare that they ever break, but sometimes when machines are moved, possibly during moving from one house to another, if the shipping bolts weren't put in, the stuff could all bounce around inside, and it's possible for that concrete to be cracked. If that happens and you're not aware of it and the machine goes into a full spin, that could actually vibrate apart, fall into pieces, and your whole assembly just banging and smashing inside your machine. With these guys encased in plastic, even if they were to be compromised and cracked, they're not going to fly apart on you. But to show you how easy it is to remove them, we're just going to need to take out these couple of bolts. So just with a ratchet wrench and a 1/2-inch socket. So with the 2 bolts removed, that can easily be removed. And you'll feel the weight of it as soon as you get the bolts out. It's fairly heavy. Again, that's concrete that's inside. But that's how easy it is to remove your counterbalance weight.